Is the blue light on?
He's a putty tat.
Say hi, Thumper. Say, hello, welcome to Tiffany's Quilting Life. I'm Thumper. I am not your host because I can't sew for the life of me. Ah!
I'm a putty tat, Mama. I'm here for cuteness only.
He's only here to say hi. He was in the room. I went to grab him, and then he just decides to run away because he doesn't really. Oh no! Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, right there. Anyways, hello guys. I'm Tiffany. Welcome to my quilting life. Today is Sunday. What do we do on Sunday? We sew. Sew Sunday. Yes. Oh, yes. We're gonna sew. Yes. We're gonna sew. Meow. All right. There you go. Ugh. I feel like he's getting heavier and heavier, or I'm just getting weaker and weaker. I mean, I don't know. Anyways, let's see who is all here. We have Hazel, Rachel, Marlene, Blanche, Jenny, or Janine. Is that Jenny? Yeah, that's Jenny. Helen, Nancy, Norma, Polly, Cynthia, Rose, Jacqueline, Judy, Dawn, Donna, Ray, Kay, Siberian Wind, Brenda, Shirley, Roberta. I don't know how to say that one. Marionette. I don't know. We'll just say M. I butcher names. Anyways, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of So Sunday. Today we are going to make attic window or window pane or whatever. I don't know why they call it an attic window because my attic ain't got no windows. I'm pretty sure some of you guys have attics with windows, but we don't. So it would be a window pane because we actually have the kind of windows on our house. Our front window has the dash slice things that we're going to be making today. I think that's the only window in our whole house that has it. Yeah. No, actually, no, the bedroom ones do. Not ours. Ours is new. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to make the window pane, but you guys call it attic window. And to make these kind of quilts, you start with a panel. There's lots of different kinds of panels out there. And there's lots of different ways to make this. I'm going to simplify it for all of you. We don't even need to write nothing down because this is really easy. So panels are like this. Open up, open up. We have, you're looking out a window and you see a duck in the pond in your yard. So this is one of those real tree panels that you can get at Walmart. I don't know where else sells real tree panels. I mean, Joann's probably sells them too. I have no idea who all sells them, but we're going to do a duck today, and if we have time, or that will be second, I have no idea. Or we're going to do a winter-themed one with a deer. Notice the shape of the panel has now changed from up and down to side by side. Okay, so there's my snowy theme one. I might as well make that for myself and pretend I'm out in the snow, because right now it's so hot here. But you could also take panels like this and make it like you're looking in on the window. And you can be looking in on Santa Claus through the window, trying to make sure what he's giving out for Christmas. What is he putting under the tree? Or you can find other real tree ones. I didn't think this one makes a good attic window, so that's why I didn't choose this one for an attic window, but you could still do it if you like swamp yard type window scenery, because this one has an alligator. For me, I think the alligator thing would be a regular quilt, but if you wanted a panel like this to be a window, you could make a panel like that to hang on the wall as your wall hanging window pane.
Yes, I would put it on the wall because some people like gators.
Yeah, Scott said he'd put it on the wall because some people like gators, but I don't think a gator is what I want to see out my window. So today we are going to make it, and I figured, an up and down panel and a side-by-side panel. Either way, it's going to be the same kind of math genius to get you there. Because everybody's panels are going to be different size. Some people have skinny panels. Some people have whatever panels. All panels are not created equal, and they all do not press equally either, because some companies have really crooked panels and some do not. So the first thing we are going to do is we're going to move that one aside. I grabbed matching fabric. So with my looking out at a deer panel, I have grabbed gray as the distance look. So it makes it look like there's a shade while you're looking out the window towards the side to make it elongated. I grabbed gray and then white for the bottom. So these are just big things of Waverly, that 3-yard cuts you can get at Walmart. And this is a different brand. Totally, you can see I always mix up fabric brands. But if you wanted to know, this is the Dream Cotton Marshall Dry Goods. Then to separate the angle, you need a really dark color or black. So I grabbed a black from the Walmart Waverly brand. These are 3-yard cuts. We don't even need 3 yards. I don't need 20 yards or however much is on here, but we don't need that much. We literally are probably going to use less than a yard, literally, probably even half a yard of these. So a yard or less would be your best bet. And then for its border, because this fabric looks super nice as like a window framing for this panel specifically because of the color in it, because it kind of has the brown like the deer, I'm going to do my final border around it to seal my window with this brownish color. That way I'm not just having gray only around it or black only around it. You know, I want to finish it off. So that's for that one. And then the same white and black are going to be for this one, except this one, I'm going to use this taupe color. So it's like a brown, but it's like a beige. So taupe. And that's going to be my shadowing of the window. You don't have to use a solid. Solids look really good, but you don't have to use a solid. You can use, if you have some wood grain fabric or brown, browns, things that are brown to make it shadowing, or really dark gray colors or anything like that for your shadowing look. That gets that, and then it gets the white on the bottom because that's, the window part. And then the black will go around that. And then its final border, because this really goes good with this real tree panel, and it doesn't even match it, but it goes really good, is this Andover Fabrics print that I had. It looks really good with it, so that's going to go with that one. And my goal today is to show you both ways. So I'm going to go ahead and get started because there's some pressing involved, and I need to get these panels flat, and I also need to open this yardage up because it's folded funky. I was going to do it ahead of time, but I want you guys to see that it does come folded weird, It's folded in 3 usually from the Walmart things instead of in 2. Oh, yeah, it's how our Walmart sells fabric now. You can't get it by the bolt anymore, which kind of sucks. So this one's folded in 2 and this one's folded in 2, but I'm still going to press them. Oh no, this one isn't. Is it? Yeah, it's folded in kind of half. Anyway.
Okay, so my first time quilting was 100% cotton batting, and I'm getting skipped stitches using a domestic machine. Change the needle, thread, bobbin, clean the machine.
Skip stitches could be the timing is off. Usually that's the problem I've noticed on any machine, and or you're going too fast. So if you're having problems with quilting, skip stitches are either going too fast, or your timing is off, or you're doing something, especially in curves. If you have a skip stitch in a curve, it's because you went around that curve too quick. All right, so I'm going to go over here to the iron. I'm just going to have Scott tilt the camera over. Can you plug that in so we can start straightening? I'm going to straighten both of my panels and also press these sort of nicely. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Panels are usually, I have a video on this. Panels are sometimes very wonky. Some brands are not. Some brands are very wonky. We're just going to make this as straight as we possibly can with the iron, some steam, maybe some spritz of water, but this one doesn't look very bad, so I'm not going to have to do any spritz of water. Well, I can water it because it's kind of wrinkled, but we don't really have to do too much to it because it's not horrible. So I'm going to spray it with water, let that sink in. Just plain water, no starch. You can use starch if you want, but I don't. I have starch. I could use it, but I don't want to. And if you feel like this is too silky from the front, you can always press from the back. It's not as silky on the back side as it is on the front when you get panels, especially these digital printed ones, and or they're printed specialty. I have no idea exactly the word for it, but I'm going to press with the grain going either this way or that way. I'm not going to go diagonal like this because that would be stretching it. We're just going to press with the grain. We're getting this nicely pressed. I'm going to start adding some steam. And you can see I'm going with the grain. I'm going to turn the whole thing around and get that bottom side because it's still wet and wrinkly. Go this way first, and then I'll go side to side and hold the iron right here because it's very wrinkly right there. We're going to go this way. Lots of steam. Oh, that wrinkle is really not going out right there. Best way to get that wrinkle all the way out is my wool mat. I'm just going to place the wrinkle on the wool mat. Get that steam to really go through there. Oh, look at that. Wrinkle is gone. Okay. One panel. Well, I want that center gone too. There's that center fold. I want that gone too. It's not as. Let's add some steam to it. Go this side of it, add some steam to it, get rid of that center fold. That happens from when they put these on the bolt. All right, I'm going to move this panel out of the way because it's ready. And then I'm going to also do my Realtree one because either way I'm doing this quilt, whether I get to it today or not. I'm going to do the same thing, side to side and up and down, not corner to corner. So we're going to spray it with some water. I didn't drench it, but I did spritz it quite a bit. And this panel, I'm going to be cutting a lot off of it. It's not even going to be the size of it because I don't want this Realtree and all this advantage stuff in my quilt, in my window. I want it to look like nature, so we're going to be chopping that out of this one. I will be using my Juki TL 2010Q. It's my main basic straight stitch machine that I absolutely love, and you can find it with the link that Scotty puts in the chat. It's a very good machine. It only does straight stitch. The buttons that are on it are for thread cutting and needle up and down. This one was folded this way, which is weird, but it has a nice long fold right there. All right. So I'm going to go ahead now and we're going to press this other fabric real quick too. That way everything is nice and pressed. I only need a little bit off of here, but I need to at least have a straight end. Oh man, they opened it all the way. We're just going to cut off some because I don't need a lot. So I'm going to show you guys what I do sometimes, but I try not to do it, but I do it sometimes. We are going to find a pair of snips. I only need like 18 inches, so or thereabouts. We're going to guess. This thing is like 20 inches, right? No, it's 18. So we're going to go the width of this. So I'm going to put a little snip over here, if you can see. And I'm going to go ahead and just tear my fabric. And it tears it on the grain. That way I don't have to press this whole entire thing.
What brand of iron do you have?
My iron is an Oliso. I'm gonna move that out of the way for a second so I can do the black, because I don't know why they fold them like this. So dumb. We're gonna take off 18 inches or so of this. What's extra batting? That it's batting leftovers. All right, again, I'm just gonna take off about 18 inches of this one. I'm just gonna put a little snip right here and tear it. And that all I can press later. And now I only have to press half a yard, because we're not really using much fabric here for this. I'm gonna straighten it and press it with some water, because this is all funky as well. And I know you guys know how to press, you know, but we're showing it because I show everything start to finish on my channel. I'm just gonna press this whole thing. And if I need more, I'll rip more off. I don't understand why they put the yardage on the thing that way. Just take it off the bolt instead of putting it on open. Now I'm going to straighten it out by putting my ends up here and making sure that this is a nice, no fold or crease at the top of my yardage right here at this top part. There we go. Fold it on top of itself like this, nice and straight, and that one is ready to go. Oh yeah, each quilt I'm going to have to cut off 18 inches worth, but we're going to do one for now. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put some water on this half yard of fabric here. My other fabric doesn't need to be ironed. Huh? Oh yes, I love glide thread too. Yes, glide thread is my long arms happy place. I'm going to fold it. I'm going to make sure, can you see when it's not straight right here on the camera? See how it creates that weird funkiness at the bottom? You want to take that funkiness away. You want to see it coming through super straight like that. So there's my super straight. My ironing board is 64 by 26. I only remember it because people ask all the time. And it started to become embedded in my brain. Okay. All right, you can turn the camera back now. Move that out of the way. I don't need those right now. Move that out of the way. Move this out of the way, and then put this one over here because we're not. Yeah, I'm done with the iron at the moment. Yep. We're going to start with the panel. This panel, before we trim anything, has the white on the outside. I'm only using the picture, so the inside of the white. So I want to see what the measurement is between here and here, the edges right here. So I'm literally going to lay that picture right here, and I'm going to lay the picture right here. And it looks like it's 27 inches. The reason why we are measuring that space is because we want a dividable number, okay? So you need to decide on your panel, and this is why I say this is going to work for any panel, what I am doing here. You're going to take this number right here. I want my window to be 1, 2, 3 by 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So this is 27 inches. That number is dividable by 9. So that's going to give us 9 inches when I cut this, right? Then this length right here, right?
It's divisible by 9.
Not dividable, but
divisible by 3, which
yeah.
will give you 9.
Yeah, divisible by 3, which would give me 9. It's going to be 9 inches. 27 divided by 3 is 9. Yeah. Then I'm going to take this side right here on this edge, the opposite direction. I'm going to get a rough estimate. So I'm going to put my finger right here, say that's 36. line that up and go 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. So what do I get when there's 42 divided by 4? That would be 42 divided by 4. I forgot. 42 divided by, come on, button, work.
10 and a half.
10 and a half?
Yes.
Okay.
10 and a half.
So 10 and a half. So we know when we cut this panel, we're going to cut it exactly to 42 by 27 so that we can get 10 and a half by 9 or 9 by 10 and a half inch pieces when we fully trim this. So I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to fold it on top of itself and I'm going to cut it to 27 by 42. So I'm going to literally line up. I'm folding my panel. I'm going to put these two corners together where the white touches the picture. Okay, those are matching. I'm going to come to this side and I'm going to match the picture to the white right here. I'm going to straighten it out like that and it looks pretty straight. This is a pretty good straight one. This is called Call of the Wild by Hoffman Fabrics. All right, now we're going to cut this 27 inches. So we're going to go ahead, lining this up right here. And I'm going to cut off this side, all that white. And if you have less than 1/4 of an inch of white sticking out, or your, the part around the panel, that's okay because it'll fit within your 1/4 inch seam allowance. All right, so I have a nice straight line going on right here. Not going to move anything, and we're going to come over 27 inches. Which is right here, because obviously we know it's edge to edge, pretty much, of this panel. So there's my 27 inches. And then I'm going to go ahead now and turn this whole thing. Everything was still lined up. I'm going to fold it very carefully, not adjusting anything, and line these two ends of the picture up and this straight edge that I just cut. I'm going to straighten everything out. Just like this, shake it up, lay it on the line right here. The fold is on the 0. It's nice and square. The fold is on the 0. This one right here is at 21. 21 and 21 is 42. I know you guys say, oh, well, that's not going to be. No, it will be. It'll be very nice. Be a nice square or rectangular piece. All right. So now we're just going to do this right here. We know that this is going to be 9, 9, and 9. So we're going to cut 3 9-inch subcuts. Like I said, choose your window, which way you want it, how many cuts. If you only want to do 2, which is 1 in the center, and do 2 parts, that's on you. This is just me giving you the directions to do it however you wish to do it. So my ruler is 8.5. So I'm going to come over here, a 1/2 inch away. It's lined up on a line there. It's lined up on a line there, lined up on a line there. I'm going to make my cut on right here. And then I, again, know my ruler is 8.5. So I'm going to come over a 1/2 inch more right here and cut it. Don't move, right? There we go. And there that is. So now it's cut 3 9-inch strips. So now all we have to do is line it up like this, and we're going to cut 10.5-inch pieces. So I'm just going to put the panels on top of each other because we're going to put that picture out anyway. Everything's nice and straight, exactly the same length. Everything's exact, lined right up on top of itself, smoothing it out. And we're going to cut 10.5-inch segments. And see, I have a 1/4 inch of white sticking out right here, but that's going to be covered by the seam. So we're going to go 10.5. I'm going to take my ruler and go to 10.5. I'm not going to use that ruler. That's just going to drive my brain nuts. We're just going to line it up on here. Everything's where it needs to be. Super flat. Here we go. 10.5. and a half right here. All right, just going to slide that up out of the way, slide this down, put it back on the line, go to the 10 and a half. Everything's lined up. That's 2. Let's line it back down. You can use your numbers on your mat too to do this, but 10 and a half, and then this should be 10 and a half. So that's the half, and that's 10 exactly. So that's the 4th, and this is the 3rd pile. So if I literally do this, I'm putting my panel back together. It's just stacked on top, and look, my panel is back together, okay? But I'm going to leave them stacked on top like this because we're going to cut more fabric. Just going to leave them in the order which I cut them. And now we're going to cut some white and the gray for this one. I'll move that over there. Put all my pieces up there. Grab that border one, throw it out of the way. And we're going to use this gray in a minute. And we're going to cut some strips. I'm going to straighten the one edge out with the ruler. And then I'm going to flip it using the fold that I created and my nice straight edge right here. I need to make sure I got all those layers, and I did. They're all equal. Yep.
Good job.
And we're going to start with, I need 1, 2, 3 2-inch strips from this. 2-inch strips is what I'm going with for my shadow. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. I need 3 strips. Again, I'm just going off of memory for this, you guys. I didn't write a pattern or anything. I'm going to cut 3 2-inch strips off of my yardage. Come on, right there. 2. And 1 more. 3. Okay, so that's going to be for my bottom parts. And then I'm going to cut a 2.5-inch strip off of here for my half square triangles, because we're going to need some half square triangles. So there's my 2.5 for that. And I'm going to move that out of the way because I don't need that no more. And we're going to grab the gray. So that's my 2.5, and these are my 3 2s. Move those out of the way. Where's my gray? Right here. I'm going to do that same exact thing. 3 2.5-inch strips. 3 2-inch strips and 1 2.5. So here's my 2.5. Just going to put that over there. And that doesn't look like 2.5, but it is, right? Oh, yeah. It's got white on my mind. And then I'm going to do 3 2-inch strips. Hopefully that's going to give me enough pieces that I need. I might need 4 of the white color and 3 of the gray. I'm not 100% because my brain doesn't work like all of yours. 2 and 3. I know I could have picked up my big ruler again, but this one is literally right here. So, and 3. Okay, and now to subcut. This is going to be so easy, my friends, so easy. So the gray is my sides. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I need 12 9-inch strips. 12 9-inch strips. All right, let's turn that around of my gray, which is my shadow color. So I'm going to cut the selvage off. They are going to be 2-inch by 9-inch. All right, let's go to 9-inch on the ruler right here. So there's 6 and 6 more. So there's my side shadow pieces. Move that out of the way. And then I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need 8 10.5-inch pieces. 8 10.5-inch pieces. No, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. I need 12. 12. That's what I need. 10.5. We should get that from these 3 strips. I knew I needed the same amount of both. My brain. All right. Cut off the selvage. Come over 10.5 inches. And then come over 10.5 inches. And look at that, just enough fabric. Just like that. So there's my 12 pieces of that. Now we're going to make some half square triangles that are going to finish at 2 inches. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these right here, and I'm just going to cut off 1, 2, 1, 2. I need 12. I need 12 2.5-inch. Actually, 12. No, 6. I need 6 to make 12. That's it. 6. See, I'm thinking as we go, but this is how it's done. I'm telling you, it's really easy. So I need 6. Depending on your panel, you choose how to count how many you need by how many blocks you have created. So I'm going to cut 6 2.5-inch squares. So there's 1, 2, and they're already right sides together, which makes this easy. So I just go straight over to the sewing machine to make my half square triangles from these. And we're going to start putting this on the board so that you can see. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I almost lost count. All right. That's garbage. Now these go to the sewing machine. And what we're going to do is make half square triangles from that. And we're going to take this, all these pieces, bring them close to us, right here. And we're going to make ourselves a quilt without hanging it on the wall at first. We will in a minute, but not this very second. All righty. We're going to go ahead and sew on both sides of our drawn line. I'm using my seam tape, so I don't need a drawn line. Can you see me with it tilted like that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can see up to the scissors.
Oh, okay, good. So I'm going to sew on both sides of my drawn line.
You want me to get closer? That was kind of far away.
No, you don't have to. It's fine. You can tilt it back this way more, I guess. All right. We're going to get ourselves 12 half square triangles of the white and the gray. Yeah, just tilt it towards me more. When it's right on, it's a little bit better, you know. So I'm just chain piecing one side of my half square triangles thing, and then I'll chain piece through the opposite direction.
Are you sewing the white on the gray?
Yep, I'm sewing the white to the gray, making half square triangles. So I'm sewing on both sides of my drawn line. And one more. Okay, I'm going to snip these apart and then press them and turn them into half square triangles that are 2 inches. Can you turn the iron back on, please?
Yeah.
Rotary cutter right here in front of me. Just gonna move those out of the way because we're gonna cut them using my ruler first to the size I need, and then I'll press them. I'm gonna use my stitch line as my guide. That way I don't have to open them, then trim them, even though that's not really hard to do with these. And we're gonna be taking them down to 2 inches. So I'm literally going to put the 2-inch mark and the 2-inch mark from my ruler on my stitch line. One side on the stitch line, the other side on the stitch line. And since we cut 2.5, there's not really much to cut off, but there it is. And then you can turn the ruler around to cut the dog ears off, or you can just trim them off the way you think that they're going to end, where they're going to end. But the ruler trick is this: cut it, turn the ruler around, line it up on the 2-inch square just like this, and this is your dog ears hanging off on the sides. Okay, simple as that. It's very easy to do this, just lining the 2-inch mark on both sides of the stitch line. So if you don't have any of the fancy rulers like the, oh my gosh, I can't think of the word it's called again, slotted trimmers or whatever, and or the, strip tube rulers or anything for cutting your triangles. You don't need those because you can use a regular ruler if you want to cut them before pressing. You don't need anything fancy to really do it. It can be done just with your regular ruler. And it can be done with any size ruler as long as you have that mark on the line. So you're not just learning how to make a panel, but you can see that there's multiple ways to cut things. Sometimes when it's only a few pieces like this, this is how I do it, because there's only 12 half square triangles here. So I don't need the fancy ruler out to do that, because it's just a couple pieces. And then I cut the dog ears off.
How do you use the seam tape?
The seam tape has a red line for your center, and that's usually when you line up for your direct half square triangle, and or it has a black line on each side, which is a 1/4 inch away from the red line on each side, and that is a 1/4 inch away. So when I'm sewing on both sides of an invisibly drawn line, I'm using the black lines as my guide to put the tips of my triangle on, or my square, because technically it's a square to start with. But you can also use it as a 1/4 inch seam guide, because that's seam tape is used for that as well. So you can have if you want to sew your pieces backwards or forwards, on inside your throat or outside your throat space, you have a 1/4 inch mark to line the edge of your fabric up with. So it's got multiple uses. And one more, and then I'll press these because the iron should be now plenty warm for me.
Yes, I plugged it in a while ago.
All right. And cut my dog ears off now so that I don't have to do it after I press. All right. This is all now garbage. Right here. Come on. All right, so I'm going to press my half square triangles real quick. You don't need to see that part. I'll be right there in 2 seconds. I'm pressing them towards the gray, because the gray is the darker of the two colors. Just takes just a second to get all of these. Come on. Oops. I'm putting non-pressed ones in the pressed pile because my brain is not seeing it in front of me, I guess. I have no idea what I'm doing here. We all have those days. All right, almost done. 3 more to press. I probably could just bring the ironing mat towards me for the next step anyway.
Hey, you want to just put the ironing mat over there and I'll give you the little iron?
No, because I'm going to have big pieces, so I'd rather have the big iron. The little one will take too long if I'm trying to do 2 panels in one video. Okay. All right, here is my pieces that are half square triangles. Now what we're going to do is, depending on how you want to look out your window, you can have it going from the looking at it to the left. Your shadow can be on the left, or you can be looking at it from the right. So you can build from the right over, so you'd be building on the left side, or you can build on the right. So it depends on if you're looking out your window this way or that way. It doesn't really matter because in reality, you look out a window. So we're going to create our shadows on this to the left. So I'm going to take my pieces and move them up. And what we're going to do is each piece, I have all my parts and pieces here. I'm going to grab one, and then I'm going to take my bottom piece that's 10.5 by 2 inches. I'm going to take my 2-inch half square triangle and place it here at the corner, and then my 9 by 2 inch piece and stick it on this side. So every single one of my window pieces is going to have it all on the left side and bottom. So let's get started. I'm going to just chain piece these. I don't need this piece right now. I'm going to chain piece all the gray on first, and then we will do the chain piecing of all the other ones. So I'm going to put a gray piece on the left side of all of my pieces. And put my seam guide back on here because I prefer to have a seam guide because that's just me. That's how I am. I'm going to line this up and sew it onto the left side. It's exactly the size that we cut our panel piece. I'm going to grab my second piece. I'm going to turn it and put this on the left side and then turn it so that the smaller piece is on the top. I like actually keeping things in order by putting the big piece on top, but I'm working a little backwards today, which is okay. So we're going to sew this on all of the left side of all of our pieces. I'm going to grab it. It's right side up for me right now, but it's going to be upside down in a second. So to keep these in order, I'm just going to go ahead now and put that on the bottom, in the middle, then the top, and then place it back over there. Then I'm going to grab this one and do this whole stack real quick. That way I'm keeping everything in order. I don't want to lose the order of my panel, even though when you lay it on, you know, some panels you might get lost on putting it back together. So just try to keep everything in order. I have it so far away from me. I'll get all these on and press them, and then we'll put them on the wall. We'll hang them up so that you can see what we're doing here. So my shadow is on my left side of all of my pieces. Before those fall and stab me, I'm going to not have them in my way. Bottom, middle, top. Next pile. All right, let's attach these. I got my deer all in one window. Look at that. It's going to be the highlight of that part of the window. It's cool that his face landed in one instead of being broken up into 2 different pieces. You can also plan your cuts when you're doing this around that image too. So if you want to focus one piece, you can have a separated and cut 3.5 off of this end and 3.5 off of that end and have a nice big center square to keep, you know, that specific image in the center for your window. That's up to you. Like I said, I'm just giving you the general idea of how this is done, and I'm also telling you the numbers I'm doing along the way. All right, so I should have 3 more of these and 3 more of these. And then I'm going to press them all towards the gray. So I'm going to press everything towards the gray, not towards the panel, because I pressed all of everything else so far, my half square triangles, towards the gray. Okay, so this is going to go 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm going to press all these back, and then we'll hang them on the wall as I'm pressing. So there's 1. Put it about right there so you guys can see it. There will be number 2, which is going to get separated, so I'm separating them because there's going to be stuff between them. This will be 3. Okay. And then next row worth. There's also going to be black between these as well because we're going to need a black to be that separator. So I'm going to separate them a little on the wall too so that you can see. 2. 3. Next pile. 1. 2. And 3. Okay. And last 3. And then we're going to make the bottom unit. And then all we have to do is make the sashing that goes in between and around the first border. And then add a second border. This is really, really, really simple. You can have these done in just a little bit of time, literally. And I think I'm working kind of slow so that I can explain this. So, all right. So there's our panel. You can see it's starting to come together. We are now going to attach. So obviously I don't have these laying exactly spread out properly, but one of these is going to be facing up like this, and then the white. Okay, so it's going to be a piece like that. So I'm going to make sure all of my pieces, all of my gray, face this direction when I attach them to my white, just like this. So I'm going to lay them right here, just like this, not moving or twisting. And I'm going to take all of my white pieces and this and hook them all together. I'm just going to...
Yeah, they can't see the white pieces on the white.
Yeah, it's hard to see the white on the white, yes. And I'm very sorry for that. But I only have white or off-white batting to hang up on the wall when I do that. So when I change out this piece, we can try with a off-white batting one of these days. Once I, get this one dirty enough to be inside of a quilt. It still sticks really good, so it's not ready to be used inside of a quilt yet. So I'm just sliding these on now, making sure not to turn anything or mess anything up. Just sewing them on. No, because I got to press all these afterwards. Remember, it's a 2" by 10.5" on my white. But yours might be different with your division that you did, you know, dividing your panel up into 3 or 4 or however you wanted to do it. This is just the general premise on it, on turning a panel into a window pane. It's fairly simple. Just a little bit of math, and you get a really cute or cool, depending on what it is. This one's gonna be considered the cute factor because I like the deer and the snow. It's beautiful. An awesome one would be looking out the window with like a circus panel, you know, and seeing your circus out there, out in the yard. Or roller coasters on a panel. I've never even seen a panel with roller coasters. I don't even think I've ever seen fabric with roller coasters on it, you know?
Well, they have fabric with everything.
All right, so all of these are pressed towards the gray. So that means all of these are going to be pressed towards the white so that they're going to nest. So I'm going to go ahead and snip all these apart and then just press them back towards the white piece, and then I'll put them all in the place they need to go, and then we'll sew them on. All right, let's stick all these over here and press them real quickly towards the white. Yeah, it goes black first and then that other color that I chose. So I'm pressing away from the half square triangle towards the white. Just takes a minute. I kind of threw them all in like this little pile, making a mess over here. I just straighten them as I go. A few more left. So since this is white touching white, it's not that bad, even though you still kind of see the seam through it, but that's okay. Once it's quilted and turned into a quilt, it really doesn't matter. All right. There we go. So now all of these will get put like this. And I know you can't see it, but you're going to see the window pane come to life right now just by me doing this. And they're going to be exactly the same size if you keep your 1/4 inch exactly the same. So I think they're 12 inches now. Yeah, 12 inches. Because we're going to need that number for our black. So 12 inches by, I don't know how big the block is yet because I didn't do the math part on that in my brain yet. All right, I know you hardly can see the white, but at least you see the gray separating it now. So now I just need to sew that piece onto every single one of these. So I'll sew it on. I'm going to nest this seam because one goes one way and one goes the other. Just going to nest that seam. It's exactly the size it needs to be. And now I'm going to bring that iron over to me.
So you want the iron over there now?
Yeah, I'm going to grab out this board to put it on. And that, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay, we'll just throw it over there. And then we're going to, I could chain piece all this, but I'm not going to right now. I'm just going to press it all towards the panel to take away from underneath where it's going to be with that white. I'm just pressing it all up towards the panel, and it lays nice and flat because I'm not pressing towards the half square triangle, I'm pressing towards the panel. So it's pretty flat right there. So there's one block. Okay. Oh, let me measure this real quickly while I'm right here. So 10.5 by 12 are going to be the next size. So let's add this one on here. Keep it nice and straight. I got my seam nicely nested right here. Everything lines up. I'm gonna press it back. Can you put the cord on the outside of the desk, please? Thank you. Oops, what am I doing? It doesn't go that way anyway. It goes under, towards the panel. That's what I get for trying to rush. All right. Do the next one. It doesn't really matter which way I sew it, as long as I nest that seam and line up this edge. If you want a wood look, your wood would be on the side. Your white would still be on the bottom, but you don't have to use white. You can use a cream, whatever color your window is, your stripes in the window, that's what it would be. It could also be light gray and dark gray for shadowing, because it's technically a shadow both ways. All right. That's going to go there. I'm just going to put this bottom one on first because it's closest to me. All right, press it towards the panel. I'm just rolling the seam back. This on here. I could chain piece them all through if I would have just kept them down, but I wanted to put them on the wall so that you guys can see this coming together. Oops, my thread came unthreaded. Where is it? Oh, there it is, way up there. Can I have a cold water? Yeah. I'm like dying of heat thirst here. Doesn't help that I have Benadryl in my system either. I had an allergy right before live stream because I have random allergies to random stuff. So I now have Benadryl dry mouth. And the heat is not helping from the iron being on. Okay, that one go there. This one on. Thank you. Oh, that feels good. Okay. Layer. All right. This one. So technically I've only used 1/4 of a yard of both my white and gray, just so that you guys know, for this quilt so far. So my white and gray only had 1/4 of a yard cut off. Like I said, you can buy a yard and probably get more than one quilt out of it. Well, that fell. So far, is this helpful in making the attic window? Am I doing a good job showing you guys how to make one of these? Making it really simplified for you? Even though I don't have a pattern for you, you don't need a pattern for this. You don't need to go out and spend $9 on a pattern to make this. It's really that simple. Yeah. Yeah, just watch the video and it's technically a pattern. So I give you all the numbers for this one, but you can do it with your own panel because I guess, like I said, not all panels are created equal. Some of you could have gotten the same exact panel and yours only turned out 26.5 by, 41 3/4. You might not have that exact number.
Is this how floating blocks are done?
Huh?
Is this how floating blocks are done?
This is also how to make the floating blocks, yes. Well, technically, sort of. Those are just shadows, but yes, you can do it that way too. You would put another piece of white, or not, you'd have a dark and a dark and a light, not white. You know what I mean? And then you would put your background around it so that it floats. So you'd have 2 different gray colors, or gray and a black, or something like that. Okay, one left, and then we will cut our black and get that into place. We're going to use 1.5 inch strips for our black because I'm framing my window. You could hook these together, each individual to themselves, and still have that same effect, but I am separating mine with a black strip. All right, so now we're going to do, because we need a 12.5 by 10.5 inch piece, but technically we don't need that. We need, ooh, I pressed this all funky. We need to make this not funky.
How would you cut the panel if measurements cannot be divided even?
Cut the panel even to an even number, unless you're losing too much of your picture. Then be very careful. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to cut 12.5 inch pieces. That was 12.5, right? Pretty sure it was. I know it was 12. It was exactly 12. Okay. I'm going to cut 12 inch pieces. So I need to cut 4 1.5 inch strips. Slide that out of my way. Grab my black fabric, and we're going to cut a straight edge on one side. Straighten my fabric back up because it kind of got itself wonky, me throwing all those pieces up on it. One side straight. Remember, so far I only have a 1/2 yard of each color.
If you wanted to make it look like you were looking in the window instead of out it, would you just switch the gray to the other side?
Yeah, well, okay, so the gray is on this side. It's creating a shadow. So instead, it's making it look like you're looking out your window right here, creating that shadow. You're seeing a shadow. If you want to look like you're looking at it from this angle, then you would have your shadow on this side. It really doesn't matter what side you have your shadow on. Honestly, it's a wall hanging, you know, but you get more of a realistic look if you have it on the side that you want your shape to be. So I'm gonna cut 4 1.5-inch strips from my 1/2 yard of black that I have here. So I really don't need that. You can have you need a little bit more than 1/4. So 1/2 yard's fine because we need to go all the way around it as well. And 1 more. And then we're going to subcut 12 12-inch pieces. And there. Oops, that didn't work out very well. Do not cut that way, Tiffy. Cut the proper way. All right, I cut the selvage off. I'm going to come over 12 inches. Make my cut. There's 8 of them. And then I need 9, 10, 11, and number 12. Okay. I'm going to straighten this one edge back out because I'm coming back over to 12 inches. Right there. All right. Let's put these in place so you can get even more of a visual experience here. Up there. And up there. Here. Line that up. And put one on the bottom. Like this. And do the same here. And up there. And up there. And then we'll add the in-betweens by just putting 1 solid strip. So we'll cut 4. Yeah. No, we'll cut 3 strips that are however long this ends up. Because I don't know that number because I don't pre-plan anything. I'm making it up as I go. I know you guys like when I do that. How my brain works, I guess. Oops. Right there. Right there. Actually, we're going to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1.5-inch strips. I just thought about that right now because we need it on the outsides too, and then we'll do the top and bottom with the leftovers. 1 more for the bottom of both those. Right here. Look at that so far.
I have a pink Alice in Wonderland panel. What color would you use for the shadow?
A pink Alice in Wonderland. I would use a gray for the shadow. Shadows always look better when they're gray. All right, I'm going to cut 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1.5-inch strips. So this one, yes, a 1/2 yard is best for the black. And then we'll sew it all together, and it looks like I probably won't even be able to get to the second panel today.
It's okay. If you put too much space between the blocks, will the deer look like he is too long or his legs are...
No, not necessarily. 1 more. All right, there's that. And then I'll have enough for my top and bottom. So these will go in between. Obviously, they need to be cut to size when I know how long it's going to be. Right now I'm just laying it on here so that you can see, and then I'll start sewing them all together. Again, they're longer than they need to be. I could have cut this at 1 inch as well. 1 inch would have looked just fine, but I'm trying to make the quilt my style, I guess is the word for it. I think it looks cool like this. And then it'll get one on the top and bottom, but we don't know that size just yet. So let's start sewing our black pieces on. I'm going to cut the last of this up into 1.5 inch strips. One. Oh, I won't get 3 out of that because that's a little on the wonky side. So that can just go with me.
A light gray or medium gray?
It is a medium gray. Let's go in my random cut strip bin because that wasn't the size I needed. 1, 2, and then all this leftovers are going to be used to put that top and bottom on. All right, so I'm going to start sewing this to this. 1/4 inch seam. Like I said, I could have used 1 inch. You could use whatever size. So if you don't want this to be that deep, you can take these down to 1.5 inches. If you want it even skinnier, you could take it down to 1 inch. I wouldn't go any less than 1 inch because then that dimension wouldn't be there that we're looking for. I'm just going to sew these on. All right, and then I'm going to finger press. Actually, I'm going to regular press because it's literally right here. I'm going to make each column. So this is my bottom column. I'm actually pressing towards the black. So now I want to put this black on top of this side and then put that next piece on top of it, and so on and so forth.
I have a Halloween panel nighttime. What color is it?
Halloween panel. A nighttime one. Probably like an orange shadow. That would be cool.
Dark orange, so it looks
Yeah.
like fire.
Like, so that it looks like fire. Maybe a dark and a light orange. That would
Ooh,
look
yeah.
cool. Yeah, a dark orange on the bottom, and I mean on the side, and a light orange on the bottom. And then frame it with black because, you know, everything looks good with black. Okay, so this is going to go like this now. So now this piece will go on top of here.
A lot of them like it better before it's black.
Well,
Black that'd be too much.
we'll see how it finishes. Oops, stay on there, just like that. All right, so I'm pressing towards my black.
The black just made it look in depth. Made it look like the windows actually has depth in it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm doing on purpose.
I know.
This one I want depth. Like I said, your panel, your way. I'm just giving you the general about it, you know? All right, press this back. And then add that to the top of it. I'm just going to grab it and put it on my lap. It's exactly the size it needs to be. Are you kidding me? Stay. Right there. Thank you. I'm talking to my fabric like it'll listen. Good little fabric. Good little fabric. Be good for mama. All right, so that will go here. And then I don't even need to see how long it is. I'm just going to cut the selvage off this and add this to the side because I'm literally right here. So it makes it easy to do. They're all going to be the same exact size, but I'm just going to do it my way like this because I find it easier to just do stuff like this way.
What do you do if you want to put a panel on the back of the quilt?
It's 33.5. Huh?
What do you do if you want to put a panel on the back of the quilt?
Put a panel on the back of your quilt.
Then you just
Yeah.
center it.
Yeah, just try to center it up. Back of quilts, you could put anything you want on the back of a quilt. You can make a whole entire second quilt. I literally just quilted a quilt on the long arm for a client that was a double-sided t-shirt quilt. The back and the front were t-shirts. What did I say this was? 33 and a half or something like that? Oh.
What else would you do to make it longer?
If I was making it quilt size, I would just border it out a lot. There's nothing wrong with a bunch of borders. Oh, this is what I was doing. I was cutting this off before I do the next one. So it was like 33 something. I don't know. I'm pressing towards the black. All right.
How do you determine what size strips go into a strings bag, and when do you cut the remaining strip into squares?
I consider all strings, 33 and a half. I consider all strings in my book of life and cutting up my fabric, are all 2.5 inches or less skinny, and they need to be more than 10 inches long to be considered a string, because I need more than 10 inches of a string to make my quilt, whatever. All right, so now I'm going to attach this row of them. I'm just going to leave that on there, grab this one, put this on here. And the bottom one. And then I'll cut those side pieces to 33 and a half so that every single one of them are exactly the same.
Do you just quilt over the t-shirt print on the shirts?
Yep. Unless my client otherwise directs me not to. Some of my clients choose for me not to quilt on those areas, but they would have bigger, what's the word for it? Sashing between their blocks, and they just want me to quilt the sashing areas. And then some of my clients just have me go over it. And if it's vinyl shirts, I try to go around them. If it's a two-sided quilt, I can't go around them at all. It looks stupid. But on single-sided quilts, I can go around them. All right, so now I'm going to hook this to this to that. Oh, where's the bottom? Oh, right there. Straighten it out, sew it on. And then this goes to, uh-oh, what did I do wrong? That's the top. That's the bottom. I sewed these two. I messed it up already. See? Every once in a while, I got to bring out that seam ripper so you know that this is real life and this is how it's done. That's what I get for trying to chain piece them. I messed them up. Yeah, because I grabbed all my bottom pieces. Come on. All right, seam ripped. Just pull all these little threads off the black real quick. All right, let's find the order that they go in. That was the Was that the middle? Next to the deer? Was that the bottom? Did I just rip the wrong piece? Bottom had the bush? No. Top had the bush. Aha. Then the bottom. Right here. See, I did rip the right one apart. There's the bottom of the deer. Where's the butt of the deer? Yeah, it goes there, like that. Okay. It's that one, then that one. See, you can mess them up. It happens. Even I have problems. Because his legs go at the bottom. All right, then this one on top right here. I knew that tree one looked like it was in the wrong spot, you know? Come on. All right, now to press towards the black and then cut a 33.5-inch piece to go along the side. Make sure that seam stays towards the black the way I originally intended it to. All right, put that in, finger press it, lay it flat. And then cut this next piece to 33.5. I'm just literally going to do this right here. Cut off one end, line it up on the mat, and come to 33.5. I'm going to put it on that edge right there. Come over to 33.5 right here.
Would you quilt this like a regular wall hanging?
I would quilt it like a regular wall hanging, yes. Most of these, every time I've ever done one of these for somebody, because this is actually something I do for others all the time, I would actually just meander over the whole thing because that's what I'm used to doing. So we're going to take this and connect it to here and then hook that to this. All right, line up my bottom now that I can see it. Make sure everything stays nice, which it did, it's equal. And make sure these seams stay the way that I press them, because that tends to, flip seams often. Press this towards the black and then add the other side. Okay, I'm just gonna lay it in my lap to make it easier. I'm gonna take this one and put it on top in my lap and then line them up and sew them. All the way down. Everything is exactly the same size, which is good because, I took the first measurement. Everything should be the same from then on. All right. And that way I can make sure these seams stay the way I press them. Make sure this bottom stays aligned because we want everything to stay the same exact size. All right, I'm going to press it towards the black. It's easier to do these little chunks at a time, by the way, because of how I'm pressing right now, which is on this table. Okay. All right, let's sew these on here now. I'm going to stick to what I was doing with one piece at a time, because that way I don't mess these up and have to seam rip again. I'm going to grab this next one, place it on top, sew it on. Press it, add the black down here. Take this piece, add it on. And then the last black piece will go on that bottom. Here. And then we'll cut the 33.5-inch piece from top to bottom. Again, all these measurements are from a panel that was 27 by 42 is what I cut it to. So all the measurements that we have done is making one exactly like I'm doing. All right. I'm going to take this.
Do you have a foot pedal thread cutter?
Yes, I have a foot pedal with the thread cutter built into it. A lot of people have been, I've had like 5 people ask me about their thread cutter not working on their pedal. Unplug it a few times, plug it back in. That probably could fix the problem, but if it's not fixing the problem, try your button. One person was a delay between the two. Using the foot pedal caused a delay on the thread cut, but the button actually was equal. That means you need a new pedal because the delay is messed up between the pedal and the machine. And then any other thing, like I said, check between pressing the button, you know, if it's working on the button. If it's not, then your thread cutter could be broken or needs to be cleaned. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and attach this onto here and then put the other side on it. And yes, I am building this quilt as I go. I'm finding it simple to do it this way. All right, I have enough to where I could reach putting these two together. Straighten it out. Right there. Hold it in my lap. Make sure everything stays nice. Come on. All right. Press this back and then we'll add the other side. Okay, leave this right here. Grab this chunk down. Lay it on here. And make sure that I don't come unthreaded. When you do things close to the machine, mine at least, I don't know about all sorts of machines. There are probably other ones that are better about this, but even the air pushing to it will knock the thread out of the needle. So I have to watch for that because I didn't even get the quilt next to it. Line up my ends. Hold it nice and straight. All right, I'm going to press this towards the black. Use my finger first. Make it a little bit easier. The black strip is 1.5 inches, but you could do 1 inch if you wanted. Probably make it look a little bit less depthier, but I like this depth look. All right, let's sew these together. I'm just gonna 1, 2, and 3. We'll start with 3, and then we'll go to 2, and then 1. I also have a knee lift on my machine so that I can move the fabric away, lift it with my knee, move it away, so it's hands-free. I'm so used to it that it's really a struggle to use a machine without a knee lift. All right, press these all towards the black and then hook them all together. So that was 1. This is piece 2.
If the white piece on the bottom of each one were thinner, would the window not look so deep?
Then you would have to make a different kind of half square triangle. Your piece on this side and this side need to be the same, or else that half square triangle is not going to work unless you want to do some kind of mitered thing or something, or a Y seam to connect it on, and have those pieces pre-sewn to those 2 sizes exactly. That's going to be a little on the tricky side. So I would suggest having them exactly the same. So if you did, say, 1.5 inch instead of 2 inch like I did, then it would be less, it would be less depthier. You can do, say 1 inch. You can do 1 1/4 inch and have, 3 1/4 inch finished pieces. All right, so that's the top, middle, and the bottom. like I said, the style and design is up to you. If you want to make it more complex, then you can, certainly do that. I wouldn't want to make it any harder on myself to do those kind of things. That's why I didn't do a Y seam and make a 45-degree miter on the black or on the white and the gray fabrics. Because some of you don't know how to do that, and some of you get frustrated on it. It would just be like doing a mitered corner on a quilt, obviously, but on a borders, but with this. All right, so let's take both of these last two strips, one for each side. Take these down to 33.5 inches. I'm gonna put them exactly on top of each other. Cut the selvage off. Line it up. Come down to 33.5. There. I lining it up on a line. My mat. Okay. And then we'll do the top and the bottom piece because we already cut the strips. So let's put one of these on here, press it back, put the other side on, and then that final side piece. Oops, I'm going this way. Why am I turning it that way? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably not going to get to the second one, obviously. So next week, we'll continue on with window panels and do something totally different with same concept, different style with that other, panel. Because like I said, they don't have to be traditional way. You can change them into whatever you want. It does not have to be exactly as you would have seen, on Instagram or what is that website? Pin it, where you pin things. Pinterest. I know a lot of people look on Pinterest for patterns and stuff. I don't use Pinterest, but I know that it's there. But there's so many different styles that can be done. All right, press this back. And I haven't actually been paying attention to lining up the black. I totally should have said to do that. Between the areas, I wasn't even paying attention to it. So you can see that this creates a nice straight line right here. You would line it up on top to match it. I totally forgot to tell you guys to do those kind of things. That would be like this. Putting it on here, folding it back and going, oh, it's right on top right there, and then putting a pin in it. I'm just eyeballing. My pieces are exactly the same size, so they should come out, about the exact same. But if you wanted to make sure it's correct, you can pin it in place. I didn't even pay attention to that this whole time. I wonder how many are actually correct. I have no idea about FAF machines. I have no clue. They pressed what? Well, if it's on a quilting frame, why does it have a presser foot? It shouldn't have a presser foot on a quilting frame unless you're using an old frame of some sort, maybe. Oh yeah, that's lined up. Yeah. And it's lined up.
When I put the pressure foot all the way.
I'm wondering if, because they have stitch regulators on anything that's on a giant frame. All right, press this towards the black. That out of my way, and that out of my way. Oh, we got some white threads sticking out right here. All right, so I'm gonna kind of just manipulate it with my finger at first. I like to pull the threads out of the seams if I see them while right there. As you know, threads always end up in the seams. All right, while I'm right here, let me find my other piece. It's on my lap, and do this last and final side, and then we'll do the top and bottom. This one kind of went over a little, so it probably wasn't exactly the size it needed to be. But that's okay. Press this back. Find my 1.5-inch strips that we cut for the top and bottom. Find out how long it needs to be. Get that out of the way. We're going to put this back up on the wall temporarily. And grab that top and bottom piece and get a general roundabout. I like it. From here, everything lines up. All this lines up. Every last bit of it. I mean, even look at this, it lines perfectly up. So, I mean, it doesn't matter how wide they are. It creates the dimension. So it makes it 3D almost in a way, because everything's still where it's supposed to be. All right. Is that the strip? Yeah, top and bottom. And then we'll go all around it with the last border fabric. So this needs to be, I mean, on the top. Yeah. I knew I was doing something wrong. I'm going to hook these two top ones together. And then find out how long it needs to be and sew it on. Stop doing that. Stop coming out, you stupid thread. Oh, it came on. Went in. Comes up right there. Popped out all the way. That was weird. It happens. I'm going to press that, get a length, and put that top one on. Cut it off. Okay. Cut off this. Oops, nice and straight. There we go. Put this on here. From there to there. Okay, that should be good. And then I'll cut it to size when I get to the bottom. And then we'll put one more border all the way around it to finish it off.
That'd be the brown?
Yep.
That looks good.
Yeah. It matches really nicely with it. So a 1/2 yard. Oops, I'm out of bobbin. A 1/2 yard I used for the black, which is what I'm using right now for the bordery stuff. I used a 1/4 yard for both the white and the gray. And then the last and final border, I'm not going to use too much either because I'm not going to make it very big. Probably do 3 inches or 3 1/4 inches. I don't know where, oh, there they are. I was wondering where my snips disappeared to. The panel is shredding. It's getting stuck around the front side. I oil it when it sounds like it needs oil mostly, but it's like once every couple of weeks. I just put a drop in. I accidentally the other, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago, maybe 4. I think I was just in a mood or something and I kept pouring the oil till the things were full, which is not what you're supposed to do. And I just left it, so I've been working off of that since then. It's made its way down though, so it's being used. But yeah, I wasn't paying attention and I kind of just was in a zone and I went to put oil in it and yeah, I just went oil crazy. Yeah, this panel shredded a lot. Sticking out through the seams. All right, I'm just pressing this one towards the black. Wow, look at all this. All this is panel.
So it's a shitty panel.
It's a shitty panel. No, it's a good company. It's just a shitty panel. We talked about shedding fabric last week, right?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so that makes this now. I'm just going to go like this and measure it. 26 and 26 is to carry the ones 52, right?
What?
26 and 26 is 52.
Yes.
So it's 52 by 33 and a half at this point. I'm going to stand up right this second. So it's getting hanged crooked. Sorry for that.
You want me to stand up to it?
No, I just want to move all this now.
Hey, you want me to do that? You done with the iron?
Nope, I got one more thing to do, and that's this border. All right, I think I'm going to do 3 1/4 inch because I don't want it to be too wide, you know? So we're going to do 3 1/4 inch. Oh, I need a long straight ruler for this, though. Straighten this side out because it's a disaster. All right, we're going to do 3 1/4. I know that's a weird number, but that way it finishes at 3 inches. 1, 2, 3, and 1/4. 1/4. I need 1, 2. I'm going to cut 4 strips. 3. And 4. All right. 4 strips at 3 1/4. So that was a 1/2 yard for that. Not really half, it was a little bit less than, but all All right, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the selvages off of 2 of them and take them to 33.5 inches for my 2 sides, and then the tops, I'll use the leftover to each of these strips. And then we'll put those on the top and the bottom. Okay. All right. Let's cut this selvage off and then cut over at 33.5 inches. On this line, come over to 33.5. Right there. So there's my 2 sides. I'm going to hook these to the tops of these. Cut the selvage off of both of them. I hook those 2 ends to one end of those, and then we'll attach all the borders. So those go with those, and these go on by themselves. So let's attach these real quick. There's one. I need them to be 52 inches. And no, not 52, because I am adding now to the sides. We'll see. This might even not be enough. I might have needed another strip. All right, let's put my sides on real quick, and then my top and bottom. Hopefully that's the right size. So this is like my wall around the window is what this final border is, you know? All right, I'm just gonna keep this nice. Line this end up. It's not 33.5 because I added a top and bottom. And I did that on accident. I'm just going to do this. And I hate when the border lands at the bottom. This is going to drive me nuts right here, but we're going to do it because I don't want a border at the bottom. I'm going to cut one more strip real quick because I boo-booed that one. Yep. I just need a 3¼ inch strip. If I wouldn't have boo-booed that, I should have thought about that before I even cut, but I didn't. Sorry, guys, on that one. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, what? Wait a second. It's not 33 anymore. It's 34. And a half. Oops. Hold on. Gotta get rid of the selvage. Put these together and then sew it on. I didn't want to seam because I pre-cut those, and that's not my fault. That's my fault, I guess. It is my fault for not paying attention. That's what it is. Come to this end and just put it on like I do with other borders on other quilts, due to the fact that I did mess up on the length.
Are you going to put a sleeve on the back of this one or loops?
I'll probably put loops on the back of it. All right, let's put the other side on, even though it's the wrong size. We're gonna add to it with the piece that we just cut off, which is this one.
You need 3.5 inches wide to get a 3 inch knife?
Huh?
You need 3.5 inches wide to get a 3 inch knife?
No, because I'm only taking 1/4 inch away on the last and final seam. All right, let's go to this side.
So the leftover piece, you put put it in the 3-inch squares or do you put it in your strip bin?
I will cut it down to 3-inch squares, the leftover piece to 3-inch instead of whatever it currently is. 3 1/4. That's what it was. My brain is getting fried. I'm trying to remember all these numbers as I go for you guys. That way I repeat it out loud so that you don't get lost and confused when you go to do your own. All right, fold this on top of itself.
What will you bind it in?
I'll probably bind it in white or something. That way it just like runs off. Or maybe this fabric that I'm currently working with. That way it's, you know, just ends. All right, I'm going to go ahead now and see. I'm going to press this real quick and see where I'm at because I don't want to screw up anymore. It's not like I don't have enough fabric to screw up. I mean, I could screw up all I want and still be good, but I don't want to waste any of it either at the same time. So I'll be right back in 2 seconds after I press these two sides. Oh, and I am just pressing it out towards the border piece. Okay. I'm going to find how big it is real quick number because I want to. 20. What's 29 and 9 is 18? Carry the 1, so that's 58. 29 and 29?
Yes.
Okay. 58 inches. Let's see how big this is. That's 36. Oops, I'm not very good at that. Sliding right that very second. Exactly right where my thumb is. 36. 46. 46. What did I say? 58 was the number I was going for?
Yes.
46. That's 56. I think that's enough right there. I'm not 100% sure on that because that's not a super properly calculated number. No, that's not. I was off however many inches that is. I'm going to hook that to this end and just do the same thing. So I kind of screwed up on this last border real quick because, you know, that first number screwed it all up for me. So just cut 5 strips. Hook them all together like I usually do when I make, you know, borders, and then just put one side, you know, put the 2 sides on, and then the top and bottom, and cut them to size as you're going. That works the easiest instead of trying to remember math numbers. But if you want to measure, just find out how big it is and, you know, do your math measurements for the people that do the actual measurements for your borders, unlike me, who does it this way. Actually, my friend Becca does it this way too, so I'm not the only one. Actually, quite a few of my friends do it this way that I know of. It's just easier. I'm going to make sure that no seam is landing on the edge. I really don't like when a seam lands at the edge. Oh, and it is. So let's put this end up first. How about that? And then there'll be no seam at the edge. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't stretch, pull, or tug when I do this, so it's going to be perfect. The only thing that knocks anything out of whack is the panel pieces because, you know, it's a panel and panels stretch differently. They just get wonky easily.
Done does the same way as you?
Huh?
Jenny Done does the same way as you?
Oh, I remember a long time. Their video is old on the attic window one. From what I remember, I watched that back when I used to sew in the garage. All right, let's do that bottom and then I'll press it and hang it on the wall and we will be done. Yay. I'm taking my time. Let's put this right here. Sew that on. And then find my end. Put the rest of my lap because it has made itself quite large. It doesn't even have to be used as a wall quilt. It could probably be used as a little lap thing. You know? Hang that over a little bit because there's some selvage hanging out. Yeah. Doesn't have to be a wall hanging, you know.
How are you going to quilt it?
I'll probably meander the whole thing. Keep it simple. We're trying to see what's in the window instead of, you know, quilting. So a meander is the best way to just keep it simple. I totally forgot to chop this end off too. I'm just, you know. I pressed it and then forgot to trim it at the thing right after. That's okay. Because I forgot to do that one too. Right here in front of your face. I'm just, I hit 2 hours and that's my no. You know, 2 hours of sewing, I'm done. I'm done. All right, I'm gonna press this and then hang it up for y'all to see. Well, technically, in 2 hours, you can build a window pane quilt. Yeah, for me, you know, I got 2 seams up here. I didn't want 2 seams, but that's the way it's gonna stay because I ain't changing it. I didn't want to cut another whole strip, you know. All right, flip it, press it. And by next week, I'll come up with something for the other panel because I was just going to make it up as I go anyway, with like I did with this. Because I pretty much know how they're done. I don't need a pattern for it, so. And you can make them whatever size numbers you want, up to the creator when it comes to making stuff like this. All right, you can unplug the iron now. And we're gonna put half up here. Oops. Level. Smooth it out.
I just noticed there's a little cardinal bird in the bottom right corner.
Yep, there's a bird on it.
Bottom right cardinal bird.
Smooth it out. And now behind me, you look out the window and you will see my lovely yard. Or I wish that was my yard. All right, let me lift this just a little smidgen. Doesn't it look like you're looking out the window, guys? Well, there is a cardinal down here at this bottom. Right. I don't even know where my finger is. Is there a finger? There's a finger. Right there. cardinal. I like it. So if you hang it on a wall, you know, if you have a plain wall in your basement or something and you want to feel like you're out in the nature of your yard, this is actually a really good idea for your wall. You know, those with, you know, apartments that don't have very many windows and you just want to feel like you're in nature or whatever, this is a good idea. And this is a pretty big window, so let's see how big it turned out. I got this. Fine. Give me the tape measure.
Do it right. If you're going to do it right.
57.5 by 40. So 40 by 57.5. So if this was an up and down panel, you know, it's a lap size and it can be used. This is more of a wall hanging to me, honestly, for your big picture window in your basement. I don't have a basement. We don't have an attic either. I like the dimension that's created. Everything lines up. This one right here is a little off right there. And that one's kind of a little off, and my hair is on it. You get DNA with every single one of my quilts. It's literally everywhere. My hair is tied up too, and it's still everywhere.
Whoever gets it gets Tiffy DNA.
Yeah. Everything gets Tiffy DNA. I don't even know where I put my snips again. There we go. All right. What do you guys think? You like it? Okay, I do. I will meander it. I'm probably going to put, I don't know, this might be too big. I might have to put a sleeve on it, honestly. You know, because this one might be big. Anyway, this one's kind of big for a wall hanging, so I usually put the hanging hooks on the smaller ones. I mean, my flag does have hanging hooks on it, but my flag, I made it with hooks on 3 sides so that it can hang on my security screen front door thing. I made it so that we can hook it to that. So this might just get a sleeve because it's kind of wide. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, look at that. In 2 hours and 5 minutes, even though I started a few minutes in. So in 2 hours, you can make a quilt just like this. That's 40 by, what did I say, 58? Yeah, I said 57.5 or something like that. Whatever I said. Hope you guys found it easy to follow along. I think it's really easy to do because it just comes out of there and it's easy. So hopefully you guys do it too. And if you do, post in the Facebook group because I kind of see them, or you can tag me on Instagram. I kind of see those too. I'm just not very active verbally or button stuff on Facebook and Instagram. I kind of just scroll when I feel like it. I haven't been wanting to be on social media lately, so I don't even watch YouTube videos.
What color is the back going to be?
The back will probably be, I have no idea because I don't know. It'll probably be just a plain. Honestly, I could put the gray solid on the back and it wouldn't matter because
Find a plain sheet or something.
I can use leftover sheet, something that just is plain. It'll be plain probably because it's against the wall, so it really doesn't matter what's on the back. All right. Well, thank you guys all for hanging out, and I will see you guys next Sunday for a different style panel, attic window pane quilt. So, and Thursday this week is also breakfast at Tiffany's. Don't forget, I don't know what I'm doing for that. It's going to be a surprise, but you'll know next Sunday is the other panel. So see you guys later. Bye. 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 Bye.